So, what do we have here? That is a 2013 Eddie Bauer catalog, specifically Volume 3, Number 2. Have you guys ever heard of Eddie Bauer, the brand? I know most of you have, but I bet you there's some TNPers that have never heard of Eddie Bauer. I grew up with it. In fact, to this day, one of the most comfortable down sleeping bags I've ever slept in is from Eddie Bauer. Made in 1958. Inherited from my dad. I still have it. You've seen it on the camera here in the Nutnfancy project. Love that sleeping bag. Growing up, I always equated the Eddie Bauer name to premium, serviceable outdoor gear. And then the 80s came, the 90s came, and Eddie Bauer lost its soul. The company lost its way, to be dead honest with you guys. And it sucked. It turned into a mall shopping location. I mean, where you live right now, there's probably some Eddie Bauer stores in malls. I don't know, I haven't checked. But back in the 90s, if you were to go into one, it would be like, I don't know, shopping at Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay, maybe not that upscale, but it was about the clothing. Yuppie clothing. Maybe with a slight adventure twist on it. And I'd look around for outdoor gear. They have sleeping bags, backpacks. No, nothing. That's what Eddie Bauer was about in the 90s. And I think all the way into the 2000s, I basically wrote the whole brand off as far as being a serious supplier of adventure gear. And then the 2013 catalog comes, Number 3, Number 2, specifically Volume 3, Number 2. First thing that captured my attention, you guessed it, was a freaking mountain on the cover. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't the Eddie Bauer that lost its soul that I knew about. This is the old Eddie Bauer. The serious mountaineering history of Eddie Bauer. And yes, they are very much tied into mountaineering. So I peruse this catalog. I was going to say calendar. And suddenly I'm reading about the adventures these guys are doing with Eddie Bauer gear. I'm like, oh my gosh, this company is back. Eddie Bauer is back. Well, at least I'm thinking that initially. I was like, let's keep turning and see what's going on. Damn, boy. Now that's not a mall company. That's an adventure company. Okay, this is a company that got it, said, hey, we have lost our way. We got to get back to what made us great. And what made us great are the adventures. And that's what they're doing now. They are now supporting teams climbing the highest peaks in the world. These articles are outstanding. They talk about that. I love mountain climbing, by the way. I don't do it, this type of mountain climbing, but I respect the effort. Great articles here, though. And this is smart because what they're doing is erasing the mall aspect of Eddie Bauer. Just the clothing, the shopping bags, and all the other nonsense that was out there, and then getting back to their roots. I'm so stoked to see it. So much so I'm getting the word out here in TNP because they deserve it. And speaking of getting back to their roots, look at this. How cool is this? I told you their roots are in mountaineering. This is what I'm talking about. It says here, breaking down the gear trusted on Everest for the 1963 AME and 50th anniversary climbs. And then it shows their old school style 25 down shirt. The down shirt that won universal praise from the AMEE team. That is so cool. I'm showing you the wrong thing. There's the wool shirt, style 25 down shirt is this one. Mount Everest parka. I stared at this for like, I'm so weird. I'm looking at that like, God, that's an awesome parka. And I'm thinking while I'm looking at this, I'm like, that is, I mean, this is what, 1963 this parka came out? And it says, model worn by the 1963 AMEE team, the most extreme parka ever in the Eddie Bauer line, rated to -85. The one shown here was worn by Pete Schoening in 1966 in Antarctica. I'm like, that would still be an awesome parka. Still would. And then they show their old mitts, some of their camera gear, down pants. Awesome. That is a great job, Eddie. EB. And then they show the same setup current day. That's so cool. Look at that sweet down suit. That's called the Peak XV down suit. $1,000, boys. Extremely light, warm, compressible, 850 down. Nothing is like down for warmth. Nothing. The only downside, is it will retain moisture, and over time, especially at altitude where there's some moisture coming in where you can't dry it out, keep it lofty, it will lose its loft. Still great. That's a great suit. But this is not, if you're looking at the suit, hey, I want to buy that for camping, it's probably not set up for that. This is extreme adventure wear for doing what these guys are doing. I mean, basically, you know, peaking, going up there. That's where you want it. You ever wonder why guys, here I am going on a tangent, you ever wonder why guys die up there and you have all this high-tech gear? I mean, every year climbers are dying on K2, Everest. Why? Well, it's because their body shuts down. If your body's not producing warmth, if you're having some oxygen supply problems, can't speak, you know, edema, you're done. Doesn't matter what the gear you have on the exterior. If your furnace is shut down, the heat generating furnace that is your body, doesn't matter what you got on. Gore-Tex, layers of awesome down. You're dead. Microtherm down shirt, love that. First Ascent Summit Mint. It's just cool. Very stoked they're back, and I really like that layout on that page. What do you know, dude? They're back with freaking tents. Hey, Nutnfancy, I bet you hate that color. Wrong, dude. I love this color. Why? Because the philosophy of use is an outdoor base camp tent. Obviously outdoor, but I should say expedition base camp tent. For this, you know, you don't want a tent that's white or gray or OD in this. I mean, because you may be coming back to base camp in a freaking blizzard. How about you see it? Yeah. So sometimes those loud colors are really good. And for illuminating the interior of the tent, the ivory colored panels, even the lime green would be great. I read about this tent. It is awesome. But it's not the only great tent out there. There's so many good tents. Look up my videos on some, and they're great. This is heavy. This is definitely a base camp tent. So, Alchemist 40 liter. This is not going to be a review of the whole catalog. I'm just going to thumb through, show you how they are back. Another article talking about Whitaker revisiting Everest in 2003, I think. That's a cool article. That guy's old school. There he is in one of the Eddie Bauer down shirts in 1963. Super stud. There he is right now. That guy owes me money, by the way. If you see him, you know, tell him, say, hey, Jim, Nutnfancy's waiting for his money. I'm just kidding. I've never met the guy. Himalayan trekking gear, some women's gear. Look at this. Sick. Hey, Nut, would you ever do that? No way, man. I can't do that. That's insanity. I'm not doing that. I got too many other, I don't know, for me, funner places to go. But I love the article. I love the adventure that these guys are doing. When I go through, you know, a catalog like this, I circle stuff that I really like. I love the guide pants. They're like breathable, articulated knees. I like that shell right there, number 6. It's called the Front Point 2.0 jacket. And it's not outlandishly priced either. $229. That's cheaper than a lot of stuff like Moonstone, Marmot, the North Face. And the reason I'm bringing this up, because that means that Eddie Bauer's not only back, but they're pricing their gear competitively, and they're worth looking at. Those are cool guide pants. I like those. That's these black ones right here. I'm getting distracted. Cool stuff, man. Some women's gear there. Okay, women TMPers. There you go. I gotta tell you this, in the outdoor market, I hate that they have to go with loud colors. But Nutnfancy, you're just saying the loud colors are nice in expeditions. Yes, but most of this stuff is not going to be used by people, come on, you know this, doing this. They're not going to be doing that. Loud colors here makes tons of sense. But most of the people buying this stuff are going to be at their local campground or backpacking in maybe not so remote places. And to me, those loud, obnoxious pinks and bright teals and oranges, ugh. But it's women's gear, dude. Whatever. It still sucks. Oh, dude, check this. Is that a girl? Yeah, it's Katie Lambert. Look at that. She's not free climbing. She's roped in, but still, you gotta respect it, dude. Gotta respect it. Man, I just dig it. Oh my god. Gosh, I hope you guys are liking this. This is so fun. Look at these guys. This article here is called Slaying the Impossible Gorge. These two dudes, Stooksbury and Korbulik, are like adventure kayaking. I think I read this article and they had to hike in and descend down so they can launch their freaking kayaks into this remote gorge. No hope for rescue, in case you're wondering. None. they're in there. No one else can reach them. Heck, there's no roads, not even trails. They had to rappel their kayaks down to get in there. And then they go into this. I don't even know what the class 6 waterfalls is what it says. Separated rib and a sketchy 100-foot gnar of Twizzler in a 1,000 vertical foot section over 5 waterfalls that required a near perfect line. Wow. It's crazy, crazy. Some more tents there. Sleeping bags. Here we go, the loud, obnoxious colors. You know, for a sleeping bag, I'm a little more forgiving. Let's see how much their sleeping bags are. So let's see. Plus 20 down, that's a good reference point. Okay, so $229 for regular size. That's a ballpark. You shop around, you can beat that on sale. So you can get a 20-degree bag, super high quality shell, great construction. If you shop around, 150 bucks, maybe even less. There you go. Ah, that's cool. I like them. They're showing the dirty gear. Look at this dude. There you go, man. Eddie Bauer, it is great to have you back from the Nut and Fancy Project. It is great that once again you are an adventure gear supplier. Yeah. Keep those mall stores, but stoke them with the stuff we just looked at. How's that? And I hope there's a market where people, adventurers like subscribe to the Nut and Fancy Project, will keep you in business doing that. I hope you make more money being the adventure gear supplier you always were back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Great to have you, man. That's a Nut and Fancy review. EB.